What is going on, guys? It is MurderInc here, back with another Raid Shadow Legends video. Now today I have a pretty special video for you guys. I can say with a lot of confidence that this is probably going to be the most useful and beneficial piece of information I am going to be giving the Raid community since I started doing YouTube and streaming. What I want to go over today with speed teams and the information that I'm going to give you, there is no doubt in my mind, if you don't know this already and you apply this to your team, you will see the most incredible gains in clan boss damage per key that you've seen from any other upgrade outside of masteries on your champion. So first, let's get into what a speed team entails and how, in my opinion, how the community views a speed team. Basically, what I've seen is getting a group of 5 champions, having an apothecary, an arbiter, raglan, golden reaper, any kind of turn meter you can think of on their team. Make them as fast as possible and get as many turns as possible. Now, I've kind of touched on this while I've been streaming lately. I did mention I was going to give you guys this video. So what I want to tell you is there is actually a speed you should not pass to get maximum value out of your team. So basically what this means is every single clan boss team you can possibly make needs to be speed tuned. So this whole idea of I'm going to make a speed team, make everyone as fast as possible, get all of their turns in, that is actually hurting you more than it's helping you. Now, I'm not going to argue that you can't have great results with the strategy that you're doing now. Making everyone as fast as possible, getting as many hits as possible, that is definitely a possibility. What I am saying is I am 100% certain that if you incorporate what I'm about to go over and discuss, you will increase your damage no matter how much damage you are currently doing now. First thing I want to do is I want to look at this clan boss simulator spreadsheet. I'm sure a lot of people by now have already seen this sheet. I know it's been incorporated into a couple websites. Huge shout out to the people who made this. What I want to show you is there's a way to speed tune your team by giving them a certain speed to make every single champion synchronized in a certain order. So I'm going to use probably the second highest threshold for this test. However, you can definitely go slower or higher. And also, this is the important thing to keep in mind about these speeds. You don't have to build your champions with the speeds you see on the screen here as the base stats. So 257, 258, 256, 255, and 254. You do not need those speeds. What you do need is you have to do some math. I know some people hate math, they just want to plug and play, but if you really want to maximize your damage per key, and I'm telling you it's going to be significant, you have to add the speed bonus and the turn meter bonus to your champions to make sure it equals these numbers here. Let me get into what is actually going on with these speeds I have mentioned on the screen. So right now, every single round, 2 champions are going twice. So let's scroll down a little bit to make sure everything is in sync, and we'll start with right here. So the stun happens, Valk goes twice, and Tyrant goes twice. AoE 1, Duchess goes twice, and Dracomorph goes twice. AoE 2, Alton goes twice and Valkyrie goes twice. That is the end of the first rotation. We have our typical 3 turns of our champions going. In each turn, 2 champions are going 2 times. Why is this important and what does it have to do with the speeds? This is where the speed threshold plays a huge role in your team. So this is the slowest your team can be with the speeds I have, and I'll show you one more time. With the speeds I have here, you cannot on this site, unfortunately, make people even speeds, or it's going to make one of the characters' names disappear from the list. So I just chose to give it an even spread of having them all 1 speed apart so we could definitely see. So the main goal here, and the really important thing to know here, is increasing the speed here. All it's going to do is change who goes twice during what turn. Now, this is very important to think about when I show you the next threshold that's below this, which is probably going to be much more realistic for people who are mid-game or entering the end game. So right now, 254 to 258 speed isn't a crazy amount of speed if you consider a turn meter boost or a speed boost, but it's still very high. I know people who have speed teams who have these base stats on their kits, and I'll get into what the next threshold would be after I talk about the one below this, just so you can kind of get an idea. So one more time to bring up this point so you guys don't forget it when I go to this next point. This is the slowest these champions can be. to have 3 turns of 3 champions going twice a turn. If I drop speeds on any single player on this champion list right here, they will be 1 turn, where instead of getting 2, 4, 6, 7 attacks per that round, there's going to be 1 round where the champions go 6 times, and 1 champion on the list is not going to go twice in that turn. So keep that in mind. Alright guys, so we are here. We are at our next threshold now. Keeping in mind with our last threshold in the 250 speed area, now we are all the way down to a base speed starting at 218 as the lowest and 222 with the highest. Now this is why this is really important for you to understand. This has the same rotation going on. If I scroll through again to after a stun, Alton takes 2 turns, Draco takes 2 turns on the next AoE, Tyrant on the second AoE, Duchess after the next stun, and Valk after AoE 1. So in a 5-turn cycle, every single champion is going 2 times a turn in that 5-turn cycle. This was the same at the 250 speed threshold. So with 5 turns for 5 champions, all of them are going twice. Why does this matter? This stays the same from this speed all the way to 250. So as of right now with these speeds, we're looking at everything in a 5-turn clan boss round rotation instead of the normal 3-turn. Usually we go 3 turns because we're basing it off of AoE 1, AoE 2, and the stun. But getting each champion to go 2 times per round, obviously there are 5 champions, so we'll take 5 rounds. So all you're going to do by increasing the speeds here is making it so eventually 1 champion goes 3 times in a 5 round, then 2 champions go 3 times in a 5 round, so on and so forth. This can be detrimental to your clan boss team if you are using specific buffs and trying to keep them active on all champions all of the time. Now just try to process that in your head. The only thing that will change by increasing the speed here is which champion goes twice in which turn, which is a gigantic threshold. 218 speed as the low end to 250 speed as the low end. So if you're not speed tuning and you don't care about which debuff is active, which buff is active for which turn, if you're using a champion that extends the duration of buffs on your team, if you are anywhere in between 222 and 250, you are losing value in your speed. There is no reason to have that stat on your champions. So this is very important. These speed numbers here are very realistic for any player looking for a speed team. Depending on the aura they're using, whether it's Apothecary or someone else, they're going to have to calculate how much speed they need plus the speed boost to hit these numbers, or a little bit higher. You definitely have some playroom. Then build straight defensive and damage as you choose, and from there you will have a successful clan boss team. What started me really researching this and looking into this was people constantly ask me, what is the speed for 1 champion to go 4 turns to a 3-turn cycle on the clan boss? And that is not an appropriate question. You are not asking the right question there. The right question would be, if I have a team of 4 champions who are 171 to 179 speed, what speed does the 5th champion have to be to go 4 turns to the 3-turn cycle? You cannot calculate how many turns a champion is going unless you have the speeds of all 4 other characters, which is what led me to research this and look at what speeds you needed for a perfectly optimized speed team. Now, like I said before, if you really wanted to get fancy and you wanted to use the counterattack, even though most speed teams don't use a counterattack, if you did want to use a counterattack buff, you would definitely have to make Valk faster to make sure that she is cycling faster than the rest of the team, so she has her cooldown up every single time those 2 AoEs go off. Outside of that, you can use things like debuff extenders, so on and so forth. So the most important thing to take away from this video here today is look at the speed thresholds that I gave you on the screen. If you have just been building speed and saying, I just want to go as fast as I can, get as many hits in as I can, I highly recommend you change your speeds to the 1st or the 2nd threshold after all speed buffs are applied, and look at your damage and see what the difference is. It is very likely you can drop 20 to 30 speed per champion and keep the same amount of damage. It's probably not likely you'll keep the same amount of damage. Dropping that much speed definitely allows you to build much tankier, much more damage. So I don't see any situation in where your damage decreases from trying these speeds out after a turn meter boost or a speed boost. Alright guys, so that is it for my video today. I'm really excited to get this video out, get your feedback. Let me know who you're using. Let me know if you try this out. What happened to your damage? Did it go up? How much did it go up by? Did it go down? What was the factor? If you do try this speed, look at your run, watch what happens. You may have to do something where if you're relying on a defense up or a passive of a champion to keep you alive in the later rounds, you may have to switch the speed order of your champions to make sure they're always proccing in a certain order. With the speeds I gave you, you can see that it's consistent on a 5-turn rotation throughout. You can definitely time key champions to always hit during AoEs as it gets later on into the fight. So once again, thanks for the support. Don't forget, if you like these videos, subscribe, turn on the notification bell so you don't miss my next upload. I'm really excited to keep releasing videos. I have a lot of great content coming out for you guys very soon, so I'm excited for that. And until next time, my friends, peace out.